What were the Irish doing in southern Austria, and which record-breaking piety can be observed once a year near St. Veit an der Glan? Hey everyone, I'm Henry. And I'm Father Johannes. Welcome to Hermit and Hog
Via Alpina Sacra Edition.
I stayed overnight in Maria Saal. Unfortunately, the light both in the evening prior and in the morning did not really lend itself to grand photographs of this impressive church. But its real beauty is revealed only upon entering anyway. The first church was built here in the 8th century at the edge of where once lay the capital of the Roman province of Noricum. And that church was to serve as the heart of the mission to the Slavs. Their ruler, Kaituma, had requested learned men of faith from Virgil, the bishop of Salzburg, who sent his compatriot, the Irish bishop Modestus. Modestus labored here for many years before dying in 765, and his tomb is venerated in this church. The building as you see it today is a Gothic remodeling done in the 15th century, which is why you find yourself under an impressive rib vault.
Which is painted.
Indeed. The frescoes show the genealogy of Jesus according to the Gospel of Matthew.
With flowers.
Yes, Alpine flora to be exact, even though I could only recognize a handful of depictions. Aside from the tomb of Modestus, pilgrims come to venerate a Gothic statue of Our Lady and the Child Jesus that is framed in the high altar. It dates back to 1425. Of course, there will be much more to discover here, but we are moving on north to the Magdalensberg, where the next shrine on the Via Alpina Sacra awaits.
Ein neuer grauer Tag, Tag 10. Die Sonne lacht nicht vom Himmel, einmal mehr nicht. Es sind ab Mittag schon Gewitter gemeldet. Hier fliegen überall Stechmücken in der Größe von Rotkehlchen.
Clouds and fog shrouded the place. No impressive views today over the surrounding outliers of the Eastern Alps. The first church was built here at the turn of the 13th century by the lords of Hoch Osterwitz, a fairy tale castle 2 miles north. It was not dedicated to St. Magdalene originally, as the name of the place would suggest. Rather, it was built in honor of St. Helen, who has retained her central place in the main late Gothic altarpiece. Helen, mother of Emperor Constantine, is of course tied to the story of the True Cross, which is depicted on the wings of the altarpiece. On the left, at the top, is shown her search for the relic. On the opposing side is depicted the miracle that is supposed to have verified the True Cross. The bottom row, on the other hand, shows Emperor Herakleios, who 3 centuries later returned the cross to the Holy City after the Persians had stolen it upon their capture of Jerusalem. But it is said that his horse refused to enter. Only when he descended from his noble steed and went on his knees could he enter the city of the King of Kings. When during the most important pilgrimage of the year people pray in front of this altar, they don't do so upon arrival, however, but as they set out on their long procession. For here on the second Friday of Easter is the starting point of one of the hardest pilgrimages of the Alps, the Vierbergelauf.
Which means what?
Literally, the 4-mountain run. 50 kilometers, which is roughly 31 miles, 8,200 vertical feet of climbing, 29 rosaries, 5 masses and 3 devotions in roundabout 18 hours.
That sounds like record-breaking piety.
Yes, except that piety may be found to be wanting these days, at least in part of the crowd, a crowd that can go into the thousands. For some of the renewed popularity in recent years has more to do with the physical aspect of the journey rather than the spiritual.
I see.
The pilgrimage appears first in documents around the year 1500, and a chronicle from the 17th century remarks not without dramatic exaggeration that many fall sick, some even die, for it is a long and arduous way. The prospect of death, however, seems not to have deterred the pilgrims greatly. The pilgrimage was more under threat by Emperor Joseph II's general laws against pilgrimages, and again last century on account of the suppression of Catholic piety by the Nazi Party. That the Vierbergelauf did not end even in that latter dark period is in part owed to the legendary and long-time lay leader of the procession, Ferdinand Eicher. Together with 4 women, he was the only one that undertook the pilgrimage in the last year of the war in 1945. Ferdinand Eicher died in 1971, shortly before his 50th Vierbergelauf, which he had led in prayer 41 times during the course of his life. On those Fridays after Easter, he accumulated a staggering 1,500 miles, and he did so in the spirit of prayer and penance, which are the root of this pilgrimage.
Well, then let's hope that his example inspires many to change from team sports to team prayer.
Agreed. So what have we learned today? The Irish spread the faith all the way to the southeastern Alps. Sometimes you get further on your knees than on a horse.
And those people in southern Austria don't half-bake their pilgrimages.
Or so we hope. At least it won't fail for want of miles and rosaries. That is all for today. See you next week. In the meantime, be joyful, do good,
And let the pigs whistle.